In this video, we're going to explain how to set the employment policies and how this automatically calculates leave and payroll. To set the employment policies, firstly open the Yacht's profile page and then click on the Employment Policies button. This will open a window that has 5 different employment types: full-time crew, full rotation crew, half rotation crew, temporary crew, and special crew. Hover your cursor over this info icon to read about the 5 different employment types, or these info icons to help you remember the employment policies. In this video, we are going to set the policies for full-time crew. To set the policies for other employment types, just expand the sections and follow the same process. In all sections, the left side column lists the different status types a crew member can be during their employment, and alongside each status are the employment policies: paid day, accrues leave, and deducts leave. To set the employment policies for each status, first activate the status by ticking the checkbox here. If the crew member is paid for the status day, select Yes. If they are not paid for that status day, then select No. If the crew member accrues leave for the status day, select Yes. If they do not accrue leave for the status day, select No. If leave is deducted for this status day, select Yes. If leave is not deducted for this status day, select No. For example, let's take travel days. If the vessel's policy is not to pay full-time crew for the days they are traveling to and from the yacht, then paid day would be No. If the vessel's policy is to allow full-time crew to accrue leave on travel days, then accrue leave would be Yes. If the vessel's policy is to consider a travel day as a leave day for full-time crew, then deduct leave would be Yes. Continue to set the policies for all statuses in the employment types that relate to your vessel, and then click Save. Any changes to the policies or notes will be automatically added to the changelog with the change made as well as the date changed and the person's name that made the change. To establish when these policies and leave calculations start, set the date here. Any days of employment prior to this date will not be considered in the payroll or leave calculations. Once this is complete, it's time to assign the employment type to the crew member's profile. To do this, open the Users List page and then select the crew member's name to open their profile page. Select the employment type here, and then select the annual leave allowance for the crew member here. For rotational crew, hover your cursor over the info icon to see which value to select for rotational crew. When adding a new user, it's important to select the status that this crew member will start on. For example, is the crew member waiting to join? Or are they already on board? Or will they be working ashore? Once complete, click Update. Now, the software will automatically calculate the accrued leave as well as the leave taken and the leave due based on the employment type and status for each crew member. The totals of these calculations will display in 3 convenient locations. The first location is in the Crew Details page, where each crew member can see their own totals in the Leave Details window by opening the Status Totals section. Below this is the Leave Calculation section that displays the leave accrued up to today's date, as well as the leave taken and the amount of leave due as of today. In the Flight Details section, the crew member can see their flight dates and costs. The values, calculations, and costs are for the current year. To see the previous year's records, click on the arrow here. Please note that the records in these sections are editable only by the onboard administrator. The second location you'll find the leave totals is in the Crew List page Leave Calculator. Only the onboard administrators have access to the leave calculator, and once the crew member's name is selected here, the fields automatically populate with the status totals. If the employment policy for this status day is set as Yes, then the status totals will display in the right side fields. The values in the blue cells are used to calculate the total days that are accruing leave, and the values in the orange cells are used to calculate the leave taken. The crew member's leave allowance displays here. The formula to calculate the amount of accrued leave displays here, and the total leave accrued for the selected period displays here. The leave taken value is a total of all statuses that have been selected in the employment policies to deduct leave. Leave owed is calculated by subtracting leave taken and any paid out leave from the leave accrued amount. The third location is in the payroll module and is used when creating the monthly payroll. When calculating the payroll for each crew member, clicking the Calculate Days Worked button will tally all status days that are paid days. Click here to check the calculation. The statuses with highlighted values are the paid days as selected in the employment policies. Clicking the Calculate Leave Due button will use the leave calculator to display leave owed based on the selected employment policies for that employment type. Click here to show how the leave is calculated. The highlighted values are used in the calculation. These calculated values can be added to the crew member's payroll here, which then produces the crew member's total payroll for the month here. Please watch the payroll video to learn more about the payroll module. Now, let's return to the employment policies and see how the status days are selected and counted. Total Superyacht will automatically save the crew member's daily status once selected. However, changing a crew member status must be done manually by the onboard administrator. To do this, open the crew list page here, then click the Change Status column for a crew member. From this window, select the status to change to, as well as the start date and end date of that status. If you don't know when the selected status will end, click No. If No is selected, the application will assign the current day and all future days with the selected status until it is changed to another status. Every day should only have one status assigned to it. For example, the day is either a travel day or a quarantine day, or either an on-board day or an unpaid leave day. It can't be both. If the on-board status is selected, update these fields with the correct information so the hours of rest and crew list data are kept current. If an error is made, select the crew member's name and click on the Edit Dates button here. In this window, you can edit the status and dates for each crew member. To do this, first click on the Edit icon in the row that needs changing. Then adjust either date status or dates as needed. When finished, click the Save icon here. It's important that the start date of a status is the day after the end date of the previous status. If any dates are missing from this list, the leave calculator and payroll will not be accurate, so please review this carefully so all dates and status are correct. If you have any questions, please contact support@superyachtos.com.